What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Today is December 15th, Monday Mail Day. Gotta jam through these questions. We've been on a little bit of hiatus when I went to the Terrence Crawford. Obviously, I didn't do it that week, and we're back up and running. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, you guys are absolutely drilling me, asking me great questions, so let's keep this rolling. Let's get right into it. First question comes from Marvin. Hey, Ego, do you prefer watching an HBO broadcast or Showtime, and why? Good question. Me, I think they're very close. That's a hard question for me to answer. I like HBO for their production value. I think they have a really high production value from the way it's filmed and actually shot and angles, like the cinematography with their 24/7s, and then in the actual fights, I tend to like the fighters, the former fighters or the current fighters, like Paulie Malignaggi and Roy Jones Jr. So I'd say they're both close. And I would say I tend to agree with Showtime a bit more. Sometimes I think HBO can be a little bit over the top, namely Jim Lampley. I like Max Kellerman, like Roy Jones Jr. Usually Jim Lampley, he's a little bit extra. Harold Letterman's not too bad to me. So I really watch both. I have both. I have HBO and Showtime, so I watch them both. But I would say Showtime, I tend to agree with their commentary, and it seems a bit more neutral. Like they're not picking things. When I watch HBO, a lot of times I see a lot of bias where they're focusing on one thing, or you know what I mean. Like they couldn't have an Erislandy Lara versus Canelo because you already know what they're going to favor. They're going to be like, oh, Canelo's so exciting, Laura's running, and they tend to infuse a lot of emotion. Namely, again, Jim Lampley. Next question is from Israel. Why people act like this new Madonna isn't a threat in the welterweight division, like he hasn't improved a lot. Now, I'm not one of those people, so I really don't know. A lot of people either don't know boxing, they don't do their homework, or a combination of both. Maidana, a lot of people, they look at him, they see a warrior, they see the power, but they don't put it in perspective. They don't look how he was on a 4-win streak before he fought Floyd Mayweather the first time with a belt. You know what I mean? They're just quick to say, oh, Amir Khan dropped him with the body shot. But yeah, guess what? He got the fuck off the canvas and gave Amir Khan hell in the championship rounds. Now, if you drop a guy with the body shot, then a lot of people can get him out of there. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you dominate the championship rounds. You're obviously the faster guy. So, Maidana's not to be messed with. I still think he can make a lot of competitive fights. He gave Floyd the best fight he could. And I don't think he's a walk in the park for anyone. And that includes Khan, even though Khan looks sensational against Devon Alexander. Styles make fights. And Khan's kryptonite, most people would say, is his chin. So going in against a guy that hurts you, and you both have improved. You know what I mean? Khan has improved with Virgil Hunter. He's making wiser decisions. His speed looks good. He moved up in weight. And then Maidana's improved with Robert Garcia. So I would love to see a rematch with that. But I still think Maidana, Thurman, anybody, Sean Porter, Maidana, any of those matches are competitive. Maidana comes to bring it. He's been hurt. Josecito Lopez fight, Jesus Soto Caras, it looked like he was getting a little bit winded, but he's tough. So I think he has improved a lot, especially his jab. His defense actually didn't even look that bad versus Floyd Mayweather in the second fight. And Mayweather's very accurate. If you look at the numbers, Mayweather, his numbers weren't as high as when he fought guys like Canelo or Guerrero. Next question's from Miguel. Ego, what are your thoughts on Abner Mars versus Leo Santa Cruz? That'll be legendary. That's a great fight. I know the Mexican fans will get behind it. I'll get behind it. Everybody will get behind a fight like that because it's a meaningful fight. Abner Mares, some people wipe him off the list because he got knocked out. You got to look at his resume. His resume, he has 2 wins over Joseph Ekbeko. Even though the first one had a lot of low blows and whatnot, he still beat tough style like matchups for him. Moved up in weight, fought Daniel Ponce de Leon, and that was a threat. You know what I mean? He's a killer, unorthodox type fighter with power, and he's tough. Then he fought the Moreno dude from Panama, Anselmo Moreno, who's very tricky. He made Victor Chinian look like pure shit. So I don't know. I think a lot of people don't. You get hurt and knocked out or whatever, and then people forget. Abner Mares is once defeated. He has a good, solid resume, and then Leo Santa Cruz is undefeated, and he's looking to climb up the ladder and keep climbing up. Most people, including myself, weren't impressed with his last performance. Not that he didn't have a knockout, but it was just against the level of opposition wasn't great. So personally, I think this is a great fight, and you can throw it on there like a Cinco de Mayo card, and that's money. People are going to tune in. And I thought Abner his last fight versus Ramirez on the Con Alexander card, his offense looked real good. Defense didn't look great. I don't think he should use that style against a guy like Johnny Gonzalez. I think he'll probably get knocked out again if he fought exactly as aggressive as he did. But Leo Santa Cruz isn't as devastating puncher as a Johnny Gonzalez. He's an attrition guy. Like, he'll get you out of there more or less a TKO, rip you to the body, and then, break you down type of guy, as opposed to lethal, one punch is going to change the whole fight type of power, even though he had a knockdown. But I like both fighters. I think it's a good fight. It's a good scrap. And I think that is a more realistic scrap for Abner than a lot of other options. Now, I'm not complaining if he wants to fight those people, but guys like Lomachenko, Rigondeaux, Nicholas Walters, I think they're too much for him. I don't even know if he can firmly beat Johnny Gonzalez. So Leo Santa Cruz is a guy who's more or less an up-and-comer and hasn't faced a person the caliber of Abner. So Mares would bring in experience, and he's back with his old trainer. So that's a hell of a fight. I like that fight a lot. Next question. Yo, Ego, do you prefer watching an all-out brawl or technical chess match? Another good question. I really don't care. I love boxing, and I appreciate all the styles. And I'm not just saying that. And there's no reason. It's my channel. I can say whatever I want. I really feel that way because I gain and take different things. When I watch a clinical guy like a Lara or a Rigondeaux, I take from it the sweet science to see, like, damn, the hit and not get hit. How is he so fluid? How is his counterpunching that accurate and precise? Look how Rigondeaux made Egbeko gun shy and not want to throw any punches. Or look at Floyd Mayweather. He made Robert Guerrero very tentative and had him swinging at the ropes. You know what I'm saying? So I like technical chess matches as well. The Amir Devon Alexander was more of a chess match based on the style of both fighters. And I thought that was an excellent performance by Amir Khan. And Devon Alexander, he tried. I really feel he tried. I don't think he was just coming to lay down. It was just he was being outsped and he was just being beat to the punch. And Khan, just with the range and stuff, he imposed his will. So chess matches can also be good and explosive. I thought Marquez versus Bradley was a pretty good one, whereas you got two thinkers, and there's always, for me, a level of what's going to happen next in a chess match to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Marquez, Bradley, what if Marquez lands something big? How is Bradley going to respond? You never know. Bradley might brawl. He might go back to boxing. You know what I'm saying? So I like chess matches, but I also like, who doesn't like an all-out brawl? It's just easy on the eyes. Lucas Matisse, John Molina bashing each other's skull in. So I really don't have a preference, one or the other. I like both. I don't want to see a boring ass chess match. You know what I'm saying? But there's one-sided fights. Like I said, Rigondeaux fights, a lot of Mayweather fights and stuff. It's because of the level of opposition. They're just not on his level to compete. You know what I'm saying? You can't compete with a Rigondeaux. So if it's a good chess match, that's all good. I don't have a preference one or the other. Next question is from Ninja Cat Boy. Lara called out Triple G, Cotto, and Floyd. What do you think? I think Laura's in an unfortunate position, and that's because he has the skills to pay the bills, but unfortunately, it's also a tricky style, and he's not really marketable. Now, I'm telling you this from both. I'll give you my thoughts on it. My thoughts on it are easy. I want to watch all those fights. All those are good fights. Triple G, I want to see him against a clinical guy who can stay out of trouble in a lot of cases, swift movement, counterpuncher, pick you off, that kind of thing, like a Lara. I would love a Cotto fight. I don't think Cotto's the biggest guy at 154. And how is he going to outbox a southpaw who's landing lefts, and Cotto's left to the body is extraordinary. Same thing with Floyd, another chess match. So I like all those fights, but I'm just telling you from today's industry, I don't really see him getting any of those fights because HBO, they're working with Triple G mostly. They want to see, you know what I mean? It's all about ratings. And I hate to say it, but boxing is a business. As much as I hate it, it is a business. So that's why we don't get some of these matches. HBO, I guarantee you, I will put money on this. if you said Triple G and James Kirkland, even though James Kirkland has never fought at 160, like let's say Erislandy had moved up to 160. Even if Erislandy Lara was at 160 and James Kirkland was moving up to 160 to fight Triple G, they would pick the James Kirkland versus Triple G at 160, even though it's unfamiliar weight territory for James Kirkland, based on the type of fight that it would probably become. You know what I mean? An all-out brawl and scrap, and that is good ratings. You know what I'm saying? So as a business, that's why they're not going to pick those fights. Same thing with Floyd. Floyd's a businessman. He's proven his worth. 18, 19 years in the sport. I don't really think he's worried about Erislandy Lara. They're talking about making a Pacquiao fight, record-breaking numbers. They're saying possibly Cotto too. Still great numbers. Cotto has a huge fan base. Mayweather has a huge fan base. Same thing with Cotto. Cotto, Canelo. These are all way bigger fights. And truthfully, Cotto, Canelo, that's a different style. You know what I'm saying? Cotto can box. So Cotto has a chance to look better in that fight based on that style. You know what I'm saying? Cotto against a guy who's a boxer puncher as opposed to someone who's going to move a whole hell of a lot and has long ass arms like an Erislandy Lara. So again, I would love any of those three fights. I don't think they're logical for boxing's platform based on Lara. Now, if I'm wrong, then great, and I'll watch the fight. Next question is from Blake. What's your take on this, on all of this Amir Khan hype all of a sudden? People ready to crown him as the best in the division. Now, I thought he looked great in the fight. I wouldn't say he's the best in the division. You beat really two guys who are, you didn't beat a champion. So I put it in perspective. He looked great. He looked sensational. He looked fast. He looks like he can give anybody problems. But to me, now I want to see Amir Khan in against a guy who can crack, a guy who can punch, and not just punch. You can't just be an aimless, puncher and that's it. You know what I mean? Because it's going to take more. Someone like a Danny Garcia who can punch with authority and also punch with accuracy. A guy like Keith Thurman, who showed you he can box. We already know he can bang. Fights like that are interesting, very interesting. Kell Brook, someone who has power, but they know how to box as well. These are the fights I want to see for Amir Khan, because you're not outboxing him. You know what I'm saying? Unless the only person that's really on the level to outbox him is like a Erislandy Lara or Mayweather type of dude. You know what I'm saying? You have to be really good, a really good boxer, because he has speed, and you know what I'm saying, your countering has to be on point. So really, I want to see him in against like a boxer puncher, or like a puncher who can box, like a Keith Thurman, something like that, because that's going to tell a lot. Same thing with Kell Brook. These are all well-rounded fighters, so I don't think he's the best in the division off of Collazo win and Devon Alexander, who lost his belt to Sean Porter, who lost his belt to Kell Brook. I think a Kell Brook fight should be next, to be honest. That's my opinion. Next question from Zone.